All right. Wait.
Let's do this.
Not yet.
It's just we're already live though.
Yeah.
We're live?
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Welcome to the Wrestling Guy Podcast. I'm your co-host Héctor El Chido Canales with,
Lord Alfred Chicks.
and of course, the host with the most.
David the Wrestling Guy.
And today we are doing the Wrestlemania PreShow. We're gonna be talking about Wrestlemania.
You know, it's been a while since we've done this. I don't remember how this podcast usually works.
We talk. We bicker.
7
You
is
try
still
to
number
sell it-
one, and then, we
then
go from
Hogan is number one. Tori is number one.
Actually, I dropped a Hulk Hogan when I was in the restroom a little while ago.
Oh.
I think I even heard it say brother as it fell
When
into
you
the
think WrestleMania, you think
Randy
the
Macho
largest
Man
arms in the world. The 24-inch pythons, brother.
He didn't look very good.
You think about hanging and banging with Brother Brudi down PCH, going down to Venice Beach.
You ruined Brutus for me, by the way.
Why?
Because you showed that horrible promo that he got with Jimmy
Where they're
Hogan.
slamming him in the face as
Yes.
he's wearing the mask?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, if
That
you're
was
checking it
WrestleMania
out,
9, right?
that review, that toy review, you can actually buy that toy here. It's on clearance at the Wrestling Guy store. So that review video is
Right.
going to be up on Tuesday on Rio Héctor Canales YouTube channel. Rio Hector Canales.
Speaking of Brother Brudi and WrestleMania, you know, we here at the store, by the way, happy St. Patrick's, everybody.
Yeah, happy Leprechaun Day.
Happy Leprechaun Day. Happy Sheamus, Finn Balor, and Becky Lynch Day. For those that have wondering how we came up with the topic for today, for WrestleMania, we usually watch all the WrestleManias here in the store from 1 up to whatever WrestleMania it is. So we've been doing this for the last 3-4 years. And today we were watching some of WrestleMania 4.
Yeah.
I
And
think by far one of the best WrestleManias ever. Cause
What?
You know why?
here we go. Why?
Because Hogan wasn't wrestling in the main event.
But he still.
But
came
he was
out.
involved.
He was involved. But he wasn't wrestling in the main event.
Look, man.
We're
so-
also live on
Wait,
Instagram.
was
so
he
Instagram,
champion
if
by,
you're watching
was
or
he
listening,
champion at WrestleMania 4?
You will be asked questions about WrestleMania.
Did he become champion at WrestleMania 4?
Look.
How did Hogan get How did he get eliminated? It was double DQ. Right?
Double DQ.
He wrestled Andre the Giant,
Uh-huh.
and it was a double DQ, which eliminated him and Andre from the tournament.
Well, I mean, with good cause. I mean, Andre can only give Hogan so many things, you know. He let him win WrestleMania 3. You know, I felt bad for the kid. And
The big giant bald kid, right?
yeah, so
Wearing the yellow underwear.
we're in the yellow underwear.
Look, man. I used to do what you do in store. I would do at home.
Okay.
And you know what? Every once in a while, I still do it. I play WrestleMania 1 all the way to, what are we now? Almost,
35,
we're
I
at,
believe.
almost at 35. So I would play them over. And just sometimes I'd be doing housework. I'd be
Right.
vacuuming.
Right.
And just have it playing in the background, right?
Right.
But when you got to, let's say, once you got to WrestleMania 4, as far as for me, it dragged.
Yeah.
As bad as WrestleMania 2 was,
You know, and I was watching that. You know that match with Ricky Steamboat. Oh my God, I just had it in my head. It was Ricky Steamboat against whoever it was. I can't remember off the top of my head. I just watched it. That arena was empty
for WrestleMania
for
2,
WrestleMania 2. It looked. I think that was here at LA.
was it?
Or was it? He was there. Where was it? It was between New
It was
York,
New-
Chicago.
Chicago and LA.
I think Ricky Steamboat took place in Chicago, and that arena was empty. Well, it looked empty on TV.
Uh-huh.
You see a lot of empty seats on the.
Oh, they used the old, like, kind of Madison Square Garden type of thing
Yes.
where they darken everything else
Yes.
and just put a spotlight in the ring.
Yes. No, that was WrestleMania 3. I know that one. Ricky Steamboat and
Macho Man, yeah.
But WrestleMania 2 was Ricky Steamboat, and he was wrestling, and I think it was Hercules. I want to say it was Hercules Hernandez. And, yeah, the arena looked empty. I saw a lady right in the middle, and it's just a lady and a little boy, and then like the side seats are kind of empty, and then you see a few people, and yeah, they had just the light on the ring, and everything else was just black all over. And yeah, I didn't know it was that bad. WrestleMania 2.
Well,
That pay-per-view was pretty bad.
Yeah.
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 I consider it probably in the bottom.
Well,
of
yeah,
WrestleManias.
one of the not so great
Yeah.
WrestleManias. But to me, WrestleMania 4, maybe because WrestleMania 2 like kicked off to other places.
Right.
Oh, now we're sending you to Chicago. And so you have kind of different scenery for almost every match, every other match.
Kind of refreshed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas WrestleMania 4 is the same place and it's like the same scene, same lighting. So it just, even though it's not even over 3 hours long,
Right.
WrestleMania 4, but it felt like it was 4 hours long.
I think
It
only
just-
because
it
there was a
dragged.
tournament that made it seem very long.
Then also, I don't know, it's just some of the matches. Like today, we were just watching Rick Rude versus Jake the Snake Roberts. That match, it dragged on, man.
Yeah.
It dragged too long, and it's two great competitors. At this time, Rick Rude wasn't the wrestler that he became.
Right.
He was still, but he was okay. Jake the Snake, on the other hand, could still tell a story.
Right.
But still, the match, it just dragged.
Do you think it was a chemistry between the two?
That's what I thought at first.
And by the way, if you
And-
guys want to see this WrestleMania 4 we're talking about, you can go on the WWE Network and you get it free for new subscribers for 30 days.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Cancel right before
Cancel cancel right after WrestleMania.
and then use a different name to subscribe again. But yeah, so chemistry. I'm not sure if it was a chemistry because they were working together.
Well, it just seemed like the build up to that match wasn't there. I mean, you knew.
No, it wasn't.
You knew that why they were fighting.
Uh-huh.
You knew they were fighting in the first round because of Jake's wife.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seemed like they ignored that fact and
Yes,
they didn't put enough
yes.
emphasis in it. It was just literally a tournament match.
Yeah,
There was no character in it.
yeah.
So-
And it didn't seem like the grudge match that it should have been.
Yeah.
Could have been a classic like Rick
But
Martel
and no
Jake the
offense to
Snake.
Hogan, but neither was a Hogan Andre match either. It was kind of they I think the preliminary and the secondary match were kind of generic, and it was basically time fillers.
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
then everything else rolled up.
And everything, going back to the Jake the Snake and Rick Rude match, I think they probably, the office probably said, kind of ignore their storyline because the great focus here is we're crowning a new champion.
Right.
This is a tournament for the championship. But if that was the case, why even have Rick Rude and Jake the Snake wrestle? You know?
They could
Well,
have.
why have Hogan and Andre wrestle? I mean, that was such a buildup from WrestleMania 3. And then
But-
to have a rematch is like, oh my God, like, these guys are going to fight again?
See, that's the thing, though. That is the draw to the show. Hogan, here's the draw. It's a tournament for the championship. It's WrestleMania. And then the other draw is the rematch. 1 year later, they've already traded. It's the rubber match.
Right.
You know, they're already traded wins, although Hogan won that last one at Saturday night's main event. It's just crooked ref had plastic surgery to look like Earl Hebner or Dave Hebner. I don't know.
Earl Hebner. Earl Hebner. That you know what I think happened is that I think they should have done with Jake the Snake. They should have had it where maybe they wrestled somebody else to start it, and then where they finally met each other in somewhere like in the semifinals,
And if you look at it,
quarterfinals.
going forward, King of the Rings, some of the semifinal matches actually did come about that way. You know, where one adversary would face someone that he's never faced before, and then the other guy who is usually opposing that person will find another adversary, and then they end up meeting in the middle. And then that's where you get your real good match there in the middle. And this one just didn't have it.
Well, now you're saying about WrestleMania 4 dragging. Well, after WrestleMania 3, it kind of dragged. You know, I noticed something watching WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3, that a lot of the matches were like 15, 20 minutes long, period. They didn't really go that long. Like Hogan and Steamboat wasn't as long as I thought it was.
Hogan and Steamboat?
Savage and Steamboat.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't as long as I thought it was.
No.
It was quick
Mm-hmm.
because I just glanced somewhere else and it was over.
Here's the thing that, okay, before we went live,
Mm-hmm.
we spoke about how this year's WrestleMania is presumed to have over 15 matches, like 14, 15 matches. And that it's going to be a 7-hour show.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, how am I going to watch this? I need to watch it, though. It's WrestleMania. Right. But, man, like, really, 7 hours?
Yeah.
I could barely sit through 3 hours of Raw. Actually, I can't.
The pre-show is maybe like the two matches are 15 minutes apiece, and then you got your semi-popular matches, which is like 35, 45 minutes, and then you got your main eventers or your title matches, which is in an hour.
But see, that's the thing. Going back to WrestleMania, let's just say WrestleMania 5. How many matches did WrestleMania 5? Let's ask some of the Instagram followers, see if they know how many matches are in WrestleMania 5. Because I know there's a lot of matches during that time.
WrestleMania 5?
I don't remember how many matches.
I think it was like 10 matches.
But see, that's why there were 15-minute matches, because
Yeah.
they can fit everybody who was on the roster to wrestle somebody.
Yeah. Because I know WrestleMania 4 did the tournament, but they did a battle royal to get a lot of the
Yes.
faces. And you know what I noticed about it? Kayfabe, huh? They used to make, so the referee standing there watching them come in down the long entrance that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes all the heels go to the right of the trophy, and the faces would go to the left of the trophy. And I was like, wow, those little details you don't realize as a kid, and then you watch it now. So, Rudy_86 on Instagram says he'll be there for all 7 hours. He's been to every WrestleMania since 30, and it gets longer every year.
So WrestleMania 5 had 14 matches. 14
and it was
matches.
only, what, a 3-hour show?
Yes,
I think that
less
was the
than
first
3
one that
hours.
went-
Less than 3
Right?
hours.
It's the first one that went that long, I think. 4 went that long. WrestleMania 4 was
went
like
that
a
long because of the
3-hour show.
tournament, yeah.
But
I think that's the one that made everything change.
But see, you got to remember how it was done. No one got these Triple H with Terminator entrances.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like
We're close,
what? Okay, going now. Let's. When did they start doing these elaborate entrances? WrestleMania 12 for Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. They gave Shawn Michaels this spectacular entrance.
I don't
Now
know. I
they're-
tend to argue that, though.
Well,
I think WrestleMania 3 was all spectacular entrances on the little ring.
Oh, the little ring.
The little
coming
ring.
but they used that because the walkway was so long.
Yeah. But to
WrestleMania-
piggyback off of what you were saying, they also had this whole in-ring thing where they're, again, we only see this in boxing, where they're explaining the rules.
Uh-huh.
They're taking their time. Oh, champion, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. And challenger, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. And Brett's looking at the fans and kind of winking at them. And they're like, usually we just start with the entrance. The entrance, you introduce, the referee shows the title, and you ring the bell.
But see, that's the thing that that whole explaining the rules is used as foreplay in a way.
Right.
It's a time filler.
Yeah, no, it's not a time filler. It's to make it feel special. The first match didn't have all that explaining, but the main event, not the second, the third, the semi, didn't have to explain all this and that and the other. But the main event, let's make sure, let's put this extra focus on this match. Putting the thought into this is a legit wrestling match, right? It's not, it's not what we know as sports entertainment, okay? This is a spectacular. We have the young lion versus, he's not old lion, but, Bret Hart, he's right now, he's the
current
leader.
champion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the current champion. So let's put some emphasis. Let's make this feel special. Nowadays, almost they're trying to do that for every match.
Yeah, you're right.
Now,
Like Triple H, you didn't need to come out with all those Terminators. The next year, you didn't need to come down the aisle in your
motorcycle.
No, it wasn't a motorcycle.
was
that
a
was a
throne.
tricycle on steroids.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah.
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 So with your wife on the back, you don't every year you don't need to have this elaborate entrance. No, okay, to rip off The Rock. Know your role and shut your mouth.
That's true.
Know your role. You're in the middle of the card. You don't need this spectacular entrance. Give it to the main event.
You're right.
Don't try to steal the show. Try to steal the show in the ring. But know your
He
role.
didn't need it because he was fighting against Sting.
No, that's the Terminator.
The Terminator
thing.
one.
Yeah.
He was fighting against Sting. So,
And
I mean,
that's already the spectacular.
that's all right.
With NWO and DX coming out, you
Exactly.
already have it.
Exactly.
You're already almost gonna steal the show just with that. But then again, see that match wasn't like this spectacular, like oh look at the athleticism. What drew you in was it's
It's
an
nostalgia.
icon.
Yeah, it's nostalgia.
Nostalgia. You got the icon. You have Triple H, which I'm on the fence sometimes on how good Triple H really is. I think a lot of times he just rips off Ric Flair, to be honest. But he does it very good, and he's good. He's a good wrestler. He's a storyteller, but he's not as great as they try to portray him to be. He's no Shawn Michaels to me.
But-
he's no Bret Hart
Right.
to me.
But don't you think with the big entrances, like Triple H, we already know he's had a big entrance. He had the King of King entrance when he sat on the big old the gold throne.
Uh-huh.
He
The
had
Conan
yeah
gimmick.
Then he had the Terminator. He's had the one where he's on the little tricycle, and then he's had the one where he's on the motorcycle. Don't you think? Every year, though, I think it's kind of like Undertaker, where we're looking forward to seeing, all right, what else are they going to do? What's his entrance going to be this year?
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
he going to do differently? For me, it's not a Triple H entrance, but what I was asked yesterday, what was your favorite entrance at WrestleMania? And I started thinking, like, damn, well, who's had entrances besides Triple H and John Cena? And, of course, The Undertaker. But my favorite entrance is The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. One, Shawn Michaels comes from the heavens in white, and The Undertaker comes from hell in black. That, for me, is the most memorable WrestleMania entrance of all time for me, at least in my opinion.
To me, was Undertaker WrestleMania 20. So Undertaker is gone for a long time, and you haven't see the internet wasn't as big as it was today, where they find pictures of Undertaker at the airport with gray hair and slouching because he's tired, and then make him out to be he's just some poor old man now, So we haven't seen the Undertaker for a long time, and they're teasing him, and he's been the American badass for a few years now. To hear and it I mean, compared to like that entrance that you said, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, this was a particularly simple entrance, but it was everything leading up to it and the feeling during it, where you hear, "Oh yes!" and here comes Paul Bearer and the Druids. And then, so they come out, and you just hear like Druid music.
They all have the torches, I think, facing this way.
And then you hear, dong, and the lights go out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, oh my gosh. So it's like a entrance before the entrance. It's a pre-entrance.
Yeah.
And then here comes the return of the dead man. I was going crazy for that. Right. Plus, WrestleMania 20, you had Chris Benoit winning the championship, and you had Eddie Guerrero with that fantastic performance against Kurt Angle.
Yeah, there were some good ones.
This year's WrestleMania is going to be about 7-8 hours, let's say. What match okay, we're realistically right now. You have, and this goes for anybody on Instagram, if we have any viewers or listeners. You have Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. You have Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. You have Daniel Bryan looking like it's going to be Kofi Kingston. You have those 3 matches. And you have, of course, Triple H Batista. That's going to be on the card. Which match of those 4 would you have actually close out WrestleMania? I have my pick, but let's hear yours, Mr. Shakes.
I think the triple threat match with the women, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. I don't think we've ever had a female match close WrestleMania. That would be interesting to see.
I would have agreed with you at before the Royal Rumble, or not even before the Royal Rumble. I would have agreed with you up until the Raw after the Rumble, or 2 weeks after the Rumble, because I honestly thought.
I would have definitely said if it was just Ronda and Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
But I think this whole match with Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda has lost its steam.
But you never know. See, that's the thing about WWE.
Adrian Reese says the women's.
They could make it seem like Charlotte got injured in the ring, and it could still end up Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. So, things can happen.
Right.
And then, of course, if that happens, let's say she tweaks her ankle, and I'm not trying to jinx her, but let's say the gimmick is she's gonna twist her ankle in the ring,
right?
Charlotte Flair, and so now she can't compete, and she's on the sidelines there, and she's hating herself because she can't get back in the ring. And now you just see Ronda Rousey on one side, and you see Becky Lynch. Don't you think the crowd's gonna pop? The crowd's gonna pop.
I think the crowd will pop, but I feel like it's lost its steam because by adding Charlotte and the whole runaround with trying to get Becky in the main event, I think it just killed the.
Well, that's happening a lot now with Vince McMahon's decisions right now.
Yeah.
Look at how many people popped when it was Kofi and Daniel Bryan. Then all of a sudden they changed it, and then keep going back and forth with this stuff. And
what's your pick? If you were booking it, what match would be the closer?
Okay, just to start it off, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Triple H versus Batista as the closer.
It might be.
It might.
Sean is a special referee. And
Sean is a special referee.
And he drives down with, instead of a tricycle, a four-wheeler with his wife and the kids in the back.
Twin Forever 87 says, I agree, the match lost something when they made it a triple threat.
And it did. It did. But I honestly still do think that will be the main event. Because Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan doesn't have enough steam. Doesn't have enough longevity yet to be pushed as the main event.
And nor will it.
Yeah.
But well, that's my pick.
Sorry. But really quick, what you're saying, not will it? That's because it's not about Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston anymore. It's about Kofi Kingston being in the main event.
Right.
You could replace Daniel Bryan at this point. So it's no longer about the championship.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some comments before I say Batista coming out as Drax. Right, cool guy. Tony Larson, 23, says he thinks it's going to be Triple H and Batista as well. I honestly think it should be Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. And not because I'm a Daniel Bryan fan.
No, yes, because you are a Daniel Bryan.
But I think there's...
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you would have seen... What was the pay-per-view we were watching?
It's not important, okay?
It was important.
It was the Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. If you would have seen David's face at the Elimination Chamber when it came down to Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, I've never seen David sweat so bad that day of possibly losing that title.
Right.
And then when he won,
Oh, he was smiles galore.
Well, it reminded me of those old black and white films where they showed the girls going crazy for the Beatles.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and like to the point of almost fainting.
And as he's like literally wiping all the sweat that came off like Gatorade off that commercial Gatorade, he's like, I wasn't worried a bit.
I wasn't worried. Let me say this: Daniel Bryan is the greatest champion of all time.
And
It is. I honestly, the way you started that, I thought you were gonna like propose to him live on.
He is the greatest WWE
Well, I'm
champion
sure
of
you'd
all
get
time.
on one knee for him, but that's a different story.
If he was at Home Depot, I would have said yes.
That's probably why he's missing some of the stones on his title.
Probably. I would have said this one's on the house. But anyway,
He's eco-friendly.
yeah, exactly. The reason I think Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston should honestly close out WrestleMania, you have to look at it. Of course, we're all looking at the women's match from an historical point of view. But we also have to look at the fact that Kofi and Daniel Bryan has an historical point of view because Kofi winning the WWE title, the actual WWE title, would make him the first ever black WWE champion.
True.
Why not give
I have no
him?
argument
This is history.
Wait, but
Why not? And not
everybody
The Rock.
keeps
The
saying
Rock
that
is mixed.
All black. All black.
It's history in the making. I mean, why wouldn't you want to give this historical moment?
You know what else?
wait,
The main
Hulk
event at
Hogan.
WrestleMania.
Hulk Hogan.
No.
Sure, brother. Because everybody was saying it, brother, so I had to say it too, brother.
I think you have to look at it that way. You're going to
Well,
have your
no,
first African American WWE champion. And
Oh,
it's gonna
WWE
be-
champion,
Yeah,
yes,
because
but-
Mark Henry and Booker T
We're world
were
champions.
world champions. They never carried the WWE title. I mean, why not give Kofi Kingston, who's been there 11 years,
You tried to tell Booker T that, didn't you?
and
Okay, but going by that same logic, he's been there such a long time. Then let's just make the Brooklyn Brawler the champion then.
but Brooklyn Brawler was never IC champion, tag team champion, US champion. Kofi was everything except
Never ate
the main
burritos and
champion.
pancakes either.
Yeah, okay, so you heard it here first. Next year at WrestleMania 36 in Tampa, Florida, the Brooklyn Brawler is going to become Grand Slam champion in one night.
And Kofi's over right now. This is probably the most over he's going to be for a
No,
while.
he was pretty over at one point.
Yeah,
when he had the
until Randy Orton called him stupid.
when he had the Jamaican accent.
Well, okay, well, so did Shelton Benjamin. Look where that happened.
Shelton should have been champion.
Yeah.
I honestly
Yeah.
think. Look, we should have. Mark Henry should have been WWE champion. Booker T should have been WWE
Booker
champion.
T, yes, I agree with
definitely.
Booker T.
I think Mark Henry, after the whole retirement angle with John
Yes,
Cena, he
yes.
should have been WWE
Yeah.
champion. I think Shelton Benjamin, after that great match with Shawn Michaels on Raw, and he was starting to pick up steam, he should have. But no, what did they do? They stuck him with his mama.
Yeah, because not only that, but he had all those really good matches with Triple H, and Triple
Right.
H couldn't get a win off of him.
Why didn't they? It's just this.
Go back though. You need to go back, and you need to see his charisma. He had his body had charisma, but on the mic,
Yeah,
certain things he had no
Right.
charisma.
But Kofi has right now. Kofi has the charisma. He's hot right now. The New Day's hot. You can even, if he does well, ratings maintain the same or even pop with Kofi for a while. SmackDown's ratings pick up. Maybe even do the tease of the breakup with the New Day.
Well, you know that's going to be
Big E
relevant.
turns
That's gonna
on
be
him.
relevant.
Well, here's okay. So
Ron
now
Simmons was WCW
yeah,
champion, right?
yeah.
Yes.
He was not WWE champion.
Damn.
We've kind of moved a little forward, and we've already talked about who's kind of gonna win the match in a way.
Right.
Well, this is
We
a pre-show.
Well, here's the thing. Let's look at the main titles. We got the women's triple threat.
Right.
We've got Seth versus Brock.
Which I don't think Seth Rollins will win.
No,
agree.
but that's the thing. Here's the thing. That's like, you gotta get the title off Brock
I agree.
already.
But
See, here,
I don't think
and I
Seth
mean to
Rollins
interrupt
is
you.
over enough
I
to take it.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Vince keeps saying that all these people want Brock to be champion. I'd like to meet a couple of them because the guy is boring. I'm sorry. The guy has no mic skills. I mean, thank God for Paul Heyman. To me, he's sloppy in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Universal Champion? That's what you want representing Raw?
Is he on Raw?
Yeah,
When he shows up.
supposedly.
When he shows up. I mean, Seth Rollins, okay, yeah, he's sloppy sometimes. Does he injure people? Yes. Anybody but Brock.
But
Bring in Brooklyn Brawler. I don't mind.
But again, back to Instagram. If anybody wants to say this, is Seth Rollins over enough? And it's not his fault. With Brock not being on Raw, and then Seth Rollins getting injured after the Rumble, or not getting injured, but with a nagging injury and having to be off TV for a couple weeks, the build-up is no longer there.
No.
For Seth, no one. The build-up's no longer there for this match. They tried it on Monday, but then, at least I would have had, if Brock would have ran out and F5'd them again during the match, or Shelton didn't take the loss, I would have been excited. But you have nothing. Now they're going to try to bring Brock this Monday to try to recapture the build-up for this match, but it's not there. So I think you have to let Brock hold the title, and if he's going to drop it, you've got to build somebody up and make it.
He should have dropped it to Finn Balor.
He should have dropped it to Finn.
Yeah.
Actually, before Survivor Series, if you remember, for those that watch SmackDown, before Daniel Bryan became the WWE champion, Paul Heyman pretty much cut a promo on AJ Styles saying that the one guy that Brock really wants to beat and prove a point is AJ Styles, because AJ pretty much drove him to his limit, pushed him to his limit. Why didn't they build on that by having AJ somehow become the number one contender and fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania?
Because he's too busy
And let AJ
working with Randy Orton,
Yeah.
who I feel should retire now.
Tony Larson, 23, feels that Seth will defeat Brock at WrestleMania. I honestly I don't see the WWE title, the Universal title, the Raw Women's title, the Raw SmackDown titles changing hands all in the same night.
Okay, let's see. The Raw Women's title.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ronda keeps it.
Me neither. You know why? Wait, there's too many. Like, look at all the championships. If you have all the right people who should win it, then you end up getting too many happy endings.
Right.
And you need some of those championship title matches to have a disappointing ending.
Right.
Like with the triple threat with the women's, Becky Lynch should be winning it.
Right. She should win.
With Seth and Brock, Seth should win it.
Should win.
With Daniel Bryan versus Kofi, Kofi's gotta win it.
Right. And especially the way that story's written right now, Kofi, that's why I feel Kofi has, even though I'm a Daniel Bryan fan, Kofi has to win the title at Mania, because if you don't, Kofi's never going to be champion.
Right.
But you can't have every you can't have a happy ending in all three of those matches. So who is gonna
Be the
take
sacrificial.
it? Yeah, who's gonna be the one to take it for the team?
And I think it's got to be Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, yeah.
I think Seth Rollins has to somehow look strong, but again, another guy that just couldn't get the job done and beat Brock Lesnar. I don't know who you go to from there after Seth Rollins. I don't know if you build up Roman again.
Yeah,
which
it's the only way.
I wouldn't build up Roman yet to take it from Brock. I think people want it, are going to
It has
expect
to be
that.
someone else.
I think you could build up. Why not Drew McIntyre?
Yeah,
Drew McIntyre should be the guy that takes
I think
off the
we've
title.
there's only been a handful where the main event has been two heels, like Orton and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
Brock's not really well, I guess right now he's a heel, but he's like the tweener, I thought, right?
Really? Who's cheering for him?
But
Again.
Drew would get cheered for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you've been pushing for Drew.
I've been pushing for Drew.
I think Drew would have been. I think if you do it, you give it to Drew McIntyre. I would let Drew, if he fights Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, which is the rumored match.
Hell, I would even mind seeing Lashley and Brock Lesnar.
That should have been the match.
No, but that's the thing. They're already kind of
Killed that.
Yeah, they killed Lashley.
Yeah.
They slowly but surely turned down the heat.
I think you can have Drew McIntyre should beat Rollins tomorrow night on Raw. Somehow, or not beat him, but maybe something will happen where Brock interferes, whatever. And Drew should beat Roman at WrestleMania. And then Drew should be the guy that fights Brock, whether it be at that Crown Jewel pay-per-view or whatever, or the Greatest Royal Rumble, whatever they call that pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. Or if you don't do it at Saudi Arabia, do it at whatever the next pay-per-view is, Extreme Rules or whatever.
No, it's Backlash.
But see, here's the thing. If you put Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, Brock is going to get booed. Mm-hmm. Drew being the heel, and they're trying to build him up as the master heel, the top heel right now.
Right.
Because Brock is only a part-timer. He's going to get cheered. Those cheers are going to float over to whoever is next in line. And if you put Roman Reigns up against Drew, then all this sympathy that Roman Reigns has gathered is going to go down the drain, and people are going to start booing Roman once again.
Now, the other thing I could have imagined was, why didn't they let Finn... I mean, yes, writing too much. Or overthinking it. After Finn lost and got the crap beat out of him at Royal Rumble, why couldn't we have the Demon King come out in the Rumble, win the Rumble, and you would have had the Demon versus the Beast at WrestleMania?
That would have been great. That would have been great.
Because I think you had... there's no build-up for Seth and... all right, well, let's change the subject real quick to another match at WrestleMania that's taking place. Tony Larson agrees with me. Drew should take the title. Who's going to wrestle Kurt Angle at WrestleMania? Who's going to be his last...
You know who it's
Shelton
going to be.
Benjamin?
You say Shelton?
That's
I
what
know
the rumor
Shelton
is.
will like it.
That's what the rumor is.
No, you know who it's going to be. And I bet you they're going to do it just the same way they did it on SmackDown. With Kurt Angle in the ring saying...
Well, they're going to announce it this Monday.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, that is stupid.
Well, I mean, it is WWE. They have advertised it, but, they could change the... Because I thought the same way you did, which was what we talked about. Kurt Angle comes out, challenges anybody to come out, and Cena
comes out
and accepts the I would like to see the Doctor of Thugonomics Cena myself.
That would be, yeah.
That would be nice.
But who? All right, so if it's you say it's gonna be John Cena.
Yeah.
Shakes. You say it's Benjamin.
Yeah, it could be Benjamin.
In a perfect world for me,
it'd be Diana Bryan.
It would have been. Monday night it was Kurt Angle versus Apollo Cruz. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still possible it could happen. I would have had Apollo Cruz, who's dying a slow death on Raw, or is dying a slow death on the main roster, period. I felt this, and my son's a big Apollo Crews fan, and I told him this is Apollo Crews' chance, if the writers wanted him to succeed, to make him important.
Yeah.
I think Kurt Angle's up in that time now, of course, where he has to help put talent over. Mm-hmm. I thought when Kurt Angle beat him and he raised Apollo's hand, that Apollo should have clotheslined him and just beat him down. And I would have liked to have seen Apollo
kind of like
and
how
Kurt Angle
Shane
at
McMahon
WrestleMania.
beat up on Miz.
Yeah. And I would have liked to have seen Apollo and Kurt Angle, with Apollo going over at WrestleMania.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. It's that's a good idea, but WrestleMania, that match, that's a Kurt Angle match.
Yeah. He has to win.
He not only he could lose, but this is not to put anybody else over. This is to celebrate the career of Kurt Angle. If you bring in Apollo Crews, you're dampening it a bit. Let's celebrate it. Let's celebrate Kurt Angle's career, and I think John Cena is a perfect guy. In a way, just like last year, Undertaker, John Cena. That match wasn't who's gonna win. You know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
This is just let's have fun.
Right. Twin Forever 87 on Instagram says it'll be Shelton Benjamin. Would you be interested in that match if it was Shelton Benjamin? The truth.
The truth, not as much as John Cena versus Kurt Angle.
How about?
Teacher versus student.
Oh, right. You know who? That's true.
Mm-hmm.
How about if it was Rey Mysterio?
Oh,
They have history.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that would appeal to me as much though.
There's not a build up to it, but you wouldn't.
Now Mysterio does rightfully, I feel, belong in WrestleMania on the card.
I think he will be. I think he'll be in a multi-man match with Samoa Joe, because I think they're going to make that into a ladder match.
For the United States
States title.
Championship.
I think they've done a great job with that.
I hope our truth is in there,
I think he is. I think it's going to be R-Truth,
and I hope he
Rey
wins.
Mysterio, Andrade, and Samoa Joe, and I think Andrade will end up winning.
I hope it's our truth.
I think they might even throw Kevin Owens and Mustafa in there.
I hope so.
I
That
hope-
actually sounds good. Like, and then having Andrade win.
Mhm.
It's his time. Come on. He came into the main roster with this great pop, and then he disappears.
Yeah.
They made him disappear.
And he's putting on. I mean, he's working his butt off with Ray, and the whole mimicking Eddie Guerrero. Sooner or later, has got to pay off.
Is
into
he
something.
mimicking it?
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
the shimmy and the little. He starts doing the Tres Amigos and. Yeah, he's doing.
He's
everything.
been doing that lately.
Yeah, he's mimicking Ray because Ray's
Uh-huh.
best friends with
Eddie.
Eddie, and yeah, so he's been mimicking it, but not in a disrespectful way. It's not like the whole what was it, Randy Orton promo where he says Eddie's in hell.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not like that. I would say for me, it's more of a tribute / mimic,
Uh-huh.
where it's mimicking. You know why he's doing it, but he's not doing it in a way where it's disrespectful.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of enjoy it myself. I like it when he does it, and you know. Tony Larson says word on the street is the Undertaker will go up against Kurt Angle.
I would like that, but
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't want to see it.
I wouldn't want to see it. I've heard also Elias might be doing a performance in the middle of the ring, and they've been teasing him doing the old school. Have you noticed?
Yes.
It might be something where Undertaker maybe appears and tombstones him.
Well,
That's
if
the old
Brock
school
wasn't
tombstones.
champion, it would have been nice to see Brock and Kurt
Brock and Kurt Angle would have been a
Uh-huh.
great match.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with either John Cena on that. I'm gonna have to agree.
I
John
guess
Cena,
John Cena would be ideal.
ideal. I could also see Drew McIntyre finally again, so he could retire him. But I'm gonna pick a dark horse here. I think no one's expecting this because I know he's injured. But I'm gonna pick two dark horses. I could either see it being Jason Jordan, or I can see it being Chad Gable.
But Jason Jordan can't go anymore from reports.
From reports, but that could also be something to throw us off.
And
Remember, they said Matt Hardy was retiring, and look at him now. He's in the greatest shape he's been in, 10 years?
I don't think Chad Gable's really in the caliber that he can wrestle Kurt Angle for a farewell match, though.
Chad Gable?
Yeah, I don't think he's up there
You just
yet.
got to break him up with Bobby Roode. But if there's another Kurt Angle, I think it's Chad Gable. He's shown that he can be goofy. He shows that he can wrestle.
Yeah, but he hasn't shown that he's got that Kurt
Angle.
Angle killer instinct.
But this is
Right,
the-
but that's where Shelton Benjamin fits in so well because they were a group at one time. He was a pupil of Kurt Angle at one time. So they have history. It makes sense. I'm not saying it's the best pair,
but it makes sense.
But it makes sense.
But now, how about if you do go with Chad Gable, right? Chad Gable loses to Kurt Angle, and in order not to write Kurt Angle out, now Kurt Angle becomes Chad Gable's coach / manager.
so we're pulling a
to
Bob
help him
Backlund
to
with
get-
him.
yeah.
And
Yeah, but you don't have to have them wrestle at WrestleMania.
No, you
in
wouldn't give
order-
it to Gable?
No.
You go with Cena.
I'd go with Cena, and if that idea sounds good to give Chad Gable a little push
After.
Yeah.
So you don't feel it's a WrestleMania worthy
No,
match?
no,
not at all.
no.
All right.
How about we get the gobbledygooker in there instead?
Hey, they could have a gimmick battle royal again.
They might.
You know,
The way it's going, Sinister 632, hi Oscar, says if Taker goes against Angle, then what about Cena? I think if they were to go that route with anybody except Cena on Monday, I think Cena goes against Samoa Joe for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. What?
Yeah, because Samoa Joe talked about what was it? John Cena making it.
Does
Now,
John Cena really need another title to be relevant?
Yes.
What will suck is, or they throw Cena in that multi-man match.
In a way, yes, but
No, but maybe Cena puts over Joe. Joe's hot right now.
Yeah.
he's
really
hire a
is.
guy like Spike Dudley who's retired or something to give him to Cena. Or
All right, how about Roman Reigns? Does Roman Reigns get Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania?
I guess it's a filler match.
Yeah. Essentially, it is. I mean, that match could end up in some sort of,
I mean, come on, the filler matches is Randy Orton and AJ Styles.
All right, who wins that match?
Who cares?
that match.
Either RKO or
They did a great job with the promo
Really?
on
Building
Tuesday
it?
was a good promo.
really building it.
But the promo was good.
I can take a leak, and I probably built up to taking a leak before.
It's gonna be known as WWE. The guy that's been the face of WWE for what?
What it's called
Over
is that
10
I don't
years,
know what I'm doing with
12
these
years.
two superstars anymore. That's why I'm putting the match together.
But they've never wrestled each other except once on SmackDown. They haven't really had a match. I honestly think that's the match that's going to steal the show. I think people are not expecting that match. They're not looking forward to it, so it's going to steal the show. Look at CM Punk and Randy Orton a couple years ago.
I would have rather seen Mustafa Ali and AJ Styles.
But
They're two faces, but they
it
work
has-
so well.
But it has history because you have AJ Styles, who was the king of the Indies at the same time that Randy Orton was pretty much the guy at the top of the mountain in WWE.
Well, not the king of the Indies. He was the king of TNA.
Well, king of TNA as well. I mean, then he went to Japan, and so I mean, you have this guy that was a non-WWE, the king of non-WWE against now the king of WWE. Pretty much.
Hell, in that case, just put Jay Lethal in it.
I don't think I think
Well,
Tuesday was
Eric
Kazarian.
Young.
Let's put Kazarian.
No, Eric Young.
Eric Young.
Eric Young is still.
Yeah,
let's
hey,
let's
look.
put him in there.
AJ Styles, Eric Young.
I
They fought
think
before.
I think this match will be the match that steals the show.
I think here's the thing. Here's the ending. And I'm going to spoil it for you. Because I already
Go
know.
ahead.
It's not a
AJ
prediction.
Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm. RKO out of nowhere.
I honestly think.
Jeez, I wonder where I've seen that before.
I honestly don't think that's what's
Seth
gonna
Rollins
happen.
and Randy Orton?
I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think Orton's gonna throw him up in the air, to set him up for an RKO, and AJ's gonna phenomenal forearm him and win.
You really believe that,
I
don't you?
really do. I think Orton will lose this match.
No.
I think-
No. If it's pitted up against, and that's what they've basically teased. Not only on TV, but also on social media, that it's WWE versus the indie boy. You think Vince McMahon is going to say, yes, I want the indie boy to win?
The reason I say that is you have the draft coming, or the shakeup. You have not your shakeup.
Oh,
for
okay.
shakes. You have the shakeup
I
coming.
like you've been watching my old videos again, haven't you?
I know, and you're going to have to move somebody to Raw to face these guys like if Rollins and Roman stay on Raw, which more than likely they will. You
What?
can't have AJ come off a loss and just switch over to Raw.
You can put Kevin Owens back on Raw.
I honestly
Because
think-
then I could see someone next in line to fight Brock Lesnar.
I can see a heel turn by AJ Styles that night. I think we're going to see a double turn in that match.
He didn't do well as a heel.
I think he will. I think that's how we're going to get Gallows and Anderson back. And
I hope so.
let me
I
see.
hope so.
Tony Larson 23 says the AJ Styles versus Randy Orton match will be a good match. Roger, I'm sorry, we're only doing audio on the Instagram. If you want to watch us on YouTube, we have about 10 minutes left. And Twins agrees with me. See, the Good Brothers will interfere.
I thought I seen something stamped on their ass the other day. Wasn't it AEW? I could be wrong. But
Let me ask you before. All right, we have Shane McMahon versus The Miz. Who's taking it?
God.
The best in the world versus.
You think they're finally gonna bring out that trophy and at least fight over something?
I think they might. They might. I could see Miz challenging him for the trophy.
I say it's a triple threat match, and the dad gets involved and wins.
Yeah.
You know what? The Miz should have been fighting Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
You know what? We're talking about filler
you know
matches.
what?
That's a filler match.
Exactly.
What? Like
You know
okay.
we have to get Shane McMahon with his high spot,
Yeah.
WrestleMania high spot.
Well, he's gonna climb on the Titantron again and fall on top of.
No, you know
Fall
what's
on top
gonna
of
happen this time? The Miz is gonna do all that stuff instead of Shane McMahon.
Man, that's right, because Shane's the heel this time.
Yeah.
So
No, but not even that, because remember, Shane McMahon was falling off the Tron even when he was the heel. You know?
That's true.
But this time, if you notice, the Miz has been doing more risky moves.
Yeah.
You know, and
He's gonna hit something big.
Yeah.
To become the best in the world.
Then
Well, of course,
and
because
then
he
Miz,
sucks. He has to do something.
and Shane's gonna take it 1, 2, 3, and
Yeah.
then we don't see Shane McMahon for like 3 months, and then when he comes back, he beats the Miz again or
God,
something.
I hope Shane hits his father too. Jesus Christ!
By the way,
Here's for putting a shot in Miz's mother.
I think Daniel Bryan is a better WWE champion than Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan ever were.
I don't think you'll see David the Wrestling Guy on the next podcast.
Just like to throw that out. He's better than Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
Oh
Tell
man!
you.
Oh man!
Let me tell you.
Wow.
Shoot, that's
Wait, you forgot to throw in John Cena. in
better
there?
than Cena too. Taker.
But all together, right?
Yeah, all together.
Like put in a
The
blender.
only one that might hold something to Bryan is maybe Steve Austin.
Okay, I
But
thought you were gonna.
besides that-
I thought you were gonna say the M word. I was about to knock you out that chair.
But Daniel Bryan is the greatest WWE champion of all time. I would just like to say that. And I would love to see him hold
Oh, sure.
retain the title.
Disrespect
at
the
WrestleMania.
nature boy with Ric Flair. Why don't you? And,
yeah,
you know.
He went in at a Royal Rumble. Come on.
Yeah, Flair. He's a dime a dozen.
He's a dime a dozen. Daniel Bryan's, come on, once in a lifetime.
Forget
baby.
about the Crispin Walls or the Eddie
right.
Guerreros.
Real quick, who wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
They're gonna have that again?
I don't know who's
so far it's
competing.
on schedule right now.
To be honest, I don't know who's competing.
You know who I like to see win? Because it's a joke of a battle royal now, pretty much. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's going to be Kurt Hawkins.
Okay, like you said, if it's a joke, yeah, Kurt Hawkins is gonna win.
Big E.
Big E. All right. If it's a serious battle royal, I say. If it's a serious battle royal,
Either
I
way,
can
I say
see
Big
EC3
No.
winning it. They start giving him that.
Yeah, because his gimmick was so great the last time they put him on TV.
They
right?
should put him with Mandy. But
You know, I'm really getting tired of these half-ass, storylines that
And then
don't
they
lead
drop
to
it, right?
anywhere. I
Yeah.
really am.
Hector Stinky, let him think for.
I'm looking at the figures here.
How about
He-
Cesaro became a
he's
two-time
trying
Andre
to-
the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
He's
winner?
wondering if the Brooklyn Brawlers is going to be wrestling that day.
Is this back to my Kofi prediction? What is wrong with Kofi
What do you mean?
winning the title?
It's
I can tell you what it is.
I would say Ricochet. Like somebody mentioned Ricochet or Aleister Black, but I think they're going to be going for the Raw Tag Team title.
And I think it's a mistake if they win.
I don't think they'll win. I think the Revival will retain.
The thing that pisses me off sometimes about bringing up NXT superstars is you give them championships too early, and then they become nothing within a year.
Yeah. Hey, maybe Bray Wyatt will win the Under the Giant.
oh
Hey,
an NXT
that's not a
superstar.
bad idea.
Maybe Bray Wyatt returns that. Or Luke Harper. Because that's what happened.
Or maybe that's how your boy will retain his title.
Why are you upset at the greatest WWE champion of all time?
Well, Savage is dead.
The
That's
planet's champion, thank you.
Captain Planet.
I don't name a champion better than Daniel Bryan. Thank you.
Randy
Hulk Hogan.
Savage,
Hulk Hogan,
Bret Hart,
Bret Hart,
Shawn
Pedro
Michaels,
Morales.
Shawn Michaels, Pedro. They're on the
Bob Backlund.
Oh, come on.
They're in the top 10 maybe, but
Bob Backlund was champion for 3 years.
So Bruno Sammartino was champion. Don't matter. He can't do half of what
Bruno Sammartino.
he can't do,
Superstar Billy Graham.
He can't do half of what Daniel Bryan did.
Eddie Guerrero.
Can't do half of what Daniel Bryan did.
That's it. You and I
Triple
are
H.
having words.
Triple H.
Okay,
Daniel Bryan didn't need to marry
Chris
his wife.
Benoit.
He was not WWE champion. He was world champion.
Diesel.
Big Daddy Cool.
Just because Kevin Nash came here and I like him, I'm not. Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal.
No.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is the planet's champion, the greatest WWE champion
So
of
you say he was
all
better than AJ Styles?
times. Greatest WWE champion of all time.
Yokozuna.
In your mind.
Greatest. Yokozuna.
Yokozuna.
Oh, I would love to see Yokozuna squash the hell out of Daniel Bryan right now.
Daniel Bryan would never lose.
It'd be like flossing that big butt of his. He's eco-friendly, people.
Calling Yokozuna. Hulk Hogan's like calling Dean Ambrose the
Great
greatest
Khali?
WWE. That's like calling Ambrose. Hogan's in Ambrose's level, so I'll give you that.
Hogan is on Ambrose's level?
Yes, he is.
I'm wondering,
The
like,
Rock.
I can see it in your head. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. It took some time for the elevator to go all the way up. Okay.
Yeah, so Savage is around Rock's level.
Warrior.
What? Warrior is a great Khali level right there. Let me tell you.
Taker?
Shoot. Was Khali? No, Khali was world champion.
Taker.
You know what I would
Saying
like to
Taker
see?
is a great WWE champion. It's like saying Psycho Sid was a great WWE champion.
Psycho Sid was a great WWE.
I would be a huge Daniel Bryan fan if he shaved that beard, put tassels, and started painting his face. That would look awesome.
We'd have to call him Mini Warrior.
Yeah. He could be the World Warrior.
He could put a recycling sign on his face
Yeah.
and paint it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Hey, how come he doesn't have
No
knee
wonder.
pads and stuff that have the little recycling sign and everything?
Maybe-
they
hey.
do it on the Titantron, don't they?
It's not WrestleMania yet. You never know.
Yeah, he might show up in a dumpster.
He might.
Duke the dumpster Josie will be driving it.
Might have a flashback. They should bring back the ring, the little old rings, the carts.
Oh, they weren't even carts; they were forklifts, just dressed up to look like little mini rings.
They said, well, you'd have to bring Andre.
They were scissor lifts. There we go.
There
They
you
were
go.
scissor
You would
lifts.
have to have Andre. All right. Well, anyway, go ahead, Hector. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania is Sunday, April 7th. It starts at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
2 a.m. in the morning.
It's April 7th, 2019. Just be ready. As soon as you wake up, just turn on the WWE Network because it will be an all-day event. Don't forget, Daniel Bryan is the greatest WWE champion of all time. Hector, go ahead and give your plugs.
I am Héctor El Chido Canales. Please visit my YouTube channel at Real Hector Canales, where we unbox, review classic and new wrestling figures and just retro figures. I also post wrestling matches with shoot commentary with the host here, David Gomez.
Shakes.
I'm speechless because of all time, really?
Yes, of all time.
You can follow me at Twitter, Lord Alfred Shakes, and also for those, Jesus Christ, Daniel Bryan, really? For those game walkthroughs and cheats, you can follow my son Dark Grapple on YouTube.com.
Also, come down to the Wrestling Guy store, 6085 State Street in the city of Huntington Park. We are open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can check everything out on the WrestlingGuyStore.com. Also, if you get a chance, you can see. I'm surprised your face is not red right now from getting slapped.
It's slowly healing.
That's because you didn't listen to me correctly. But you could also follow.
Because all I heard was Daniel Bryan was the greatest world champion. It didn't help.
Follow us.
That's why I got slapped.
Check out YouTube for Nobody Listens to David and see why Lord Alfred Shakes got slapped. For all of us here at the Wrestling Guy store, Daniel Bryan is the greatest WWE champion of all time. We're out of here. What is your problem with Daniel Bryan?